Stop for someone that others might be walking past or even throwing away or trashing, and pick them up and patiently build them into all they were meant to be.
Thanks, Ron. Friend, you don't ever have to miss a word with you. You can have this daily devotional sent directly to your email box as a transcript and with links to audio as well. To subscribe, simply visit our website, awordwithyou.com. A Word With You is a feature of Ron Hutchcraft Ministries.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Well, the votes have been cast, but the winner still not known. The outcome of the presidential race remains up in the air, with a half dozen states yet to be called. Those states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada.
With no winner declared in the race for the White House, President Trump is casting doubt about the integrity of the election.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
But Joe Biden says that decision is not up to either candidate.
It's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people.
Biden is urging for patience as ballots continue to be counted, while the president is vowing to take his election fight to the U.S. Supreme Court. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And 270 Electoral College votes are needed to win. Right now, Biden has 238 to the president's 213. Democrat hopes to take control of the Senate are fading. Republican incumbents winning in South Carolina, Kentucky, Iowa, and Montana, while elsewhere.
Senator Lindsey Graham, a staunch Trump supporter, survived the fight of his political life in South Carolina against Democrat Jamie Harrison. In Texas, Senator John Cornyn managed to win in his hardest-fought election in almost 2 decades. In Colorado, Senator Cory Gardner lost his seat to former Governor, Democrat John Hickenlooper. Republicans flipped the seat in Alabama as former Auburn football coach Tommy Tuberville defeated Democrat Doug Jones. Bob Agnew reporting.
Voters in 4 states, Arizona, New Jersey, Montana, and South Dakota, voting to legalize recreational marijuana. Oregon voters taking things a step further, voting to legalize possession of small amounts of hard drugs like heroin, cocaine, and LSD. Stock futures higher on Wall Street right now. Dow futures up 15 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 272. SRN News. New Zealand legalizes euthanasia.
By roughly 2-to-1 margin, voters in the country have approved a measure that would allow people who are judged to be terminally ill by a doctor to end their lives. Remarkably, voters simultaneously rejected a measure that would have legalized marijuana. A growing number of countries around the world are making it legal for people to take their own lives. Here in the U.S., several states have also done so. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
A Florida high school principal has been fired again over a comment he made to a student's parent last year regarding the Holocaust. The Palm Beach County School Board's latest vote reversed an earlier decision to reinstate Spanish River High School principal William Latson. He was fired in October 2019 after telling a parent he can't say the Holocaust is a factual historical event. He appealed his firing, and an administrative law judge ruled in August that the school board had gone too far in removing him. This is SRN News. Police corruption in Baltimore. It's going to cost the city a bundle.
Officials are set to approve nearly $2.5 million in payments to resolve claims that a rogue unit brutalized, robbed, and falsely arrested residents. The city's Board of Estimates is scheduled to approve payments to 11 people in a second round of settlements related to the police department's corruption-plagued Gun Trace Task Force. The latest round of payments would raise the total to $2.7 million for 21 people who sued. 8 former members of the task force were convicted of racketeering and sentenced to federal prison. John Scott reporting.
And recapping the hour's lead story, the race for the White House still up in the air, although the votes have been cast. The outcome unknown at this point, with a half dozen states yet to be called. Those states, the key battleground, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada.
Hey, it's Al Williams, co-host of The Breakfast Club and operations manager here at WVVC. We're entering into my favorite time of the year, the holiday season. It's November and Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Of course, we know Thanksgiving is going to look a little different this year thanks to COVID, but one thing that won't ever change is the love of Jesus. WVVC is here to share that message in a time when people really, really need to hear it. But here's the thing, we can't do it without you. Would you consider supporting WVVC? Just go to WVVCUtica.com, click on Donate, or you can send a check to 1017 Higbee Road, New Hartford, New York, 13413. Happy Thanksgiving from the crew here at WVVC.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-50s. For tonight, skies will be clear with lows around 40. For tomorrow, Thursday, morning sun will be followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Our highs will be in the low 60s. For Thursday night, we can expect mainly cloudy skies with lows near 45. For the long-range outlook, as the week progresses, we will see partly cloudy skies with temperatures rising into the 60s. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
And it is Hump Day. It is the day after the the day after the after Election Day. And what do we know the day after Election Day?
We know we don't know.
We know we don't know.
Yeah.
So there you go. Your weather update brought to you by Forever Leather in the New Hartford Shopping Center.
Charlie Seeley and his herd of cowhide.
That's right, fresh off the hoof.
Cowhide comes in all forms. Comes in jackets, coats, gloves, hats, all sorts of cool stuff. As a matter of fact, you can almost get in there with all the cowhide stuff he has.
He's got lots of stuff.
He does.
315-734-0922, and he's located down there in the New Hartford Shopping Center. Yeah, so it's going to be a nicer day than it's been, so that's a positive.
Were you up late last night, Al?
I was. I got the coffee train running here.
I went to the Claudia Tenney rally.
Yeah.
At in Vernon, at Nothing Fancies in Vernon.
Yeah.
And, but I left early. Miss Kimmy did stay, and she saw Claudia. Thank everybody for coming and thank everybody for voting. And right now, Claudia sitting on a pretty nice lead.
Yep.
There are a bunch of early voting and absentee ballots to go through yet to finalize it. But she does got a pretty substantial margin right now.
Yeah, so we're
and
doing this.
One of the things I saw very interesting last night, Brindisi did not have any kind of a rally. He sat home.
Yeah, because COVID, you don't want to get together. That would be bad. That would be bad.
Well, there was a lot of the Blues Brothers were there again last night at Claudia's thing.
They're a good time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So there was a lot of excitement, especially I left early and I got home. And before I crawled into bed, I said, well, I'm just going to put the TV on for just a few minutes. You know how that goes.
Yes.
And so actually I saw Claudia deliver her speech, and everybody was really excited last night.
Yeah.
They really were.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. I've got to say, not like any election night I've seen, but
yes.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that coming up. Let's get things started.
All righty. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for a new opportunity to praise you. We pray, Lord, for health and wisdom. And Father, we pray as we enter this day that we hear your word, walk in your steps, that we be filled with your Holy Spirit and manifest your greatness, your goodness, and your love here on this earth. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
First on your FM dial, WVVC Dolesville, Utica, Rome. Inspo Radio 88.1 FM.
You are still God, still in control. You are still King, still on your throne. You are still Lord, still Lord of all. You rule my heart, still have my soul.
Natasha Phillips on WVVC 88.1 FM. This is the Breakfast Club. Thanks for getting up early and joining us for our...
So how many people you think voted for God last night?
A lot. Did you hear the sheer turnout yesterday? The people who came to the polls. This was a record from what they're saying.
Huge.
And people don't realize how small the turnout usually is. Because
it's usually, a lot of times, the turnout is maybe double digits.
Maybe.
Maybe 10, 12, 14%.
And they're saying somewhere around 60% of the electorate got out.
For the United States, that's an incredible number.
And here's the other thing that's interesting, and I'm going to go into this a little bit deeper, but in Florida, the big shock was Miami-Dade County. All right. Now, the Democrats still had the majority in Miami-Dade. But what you saw compared to 2016 was that Trump managed to carry the Latino vote. Apparently, they got sick and tired of trying to be directed, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely sick and tired. So let's get into the news, which is brought to you by Dr. Uniforms, 1311 Oriskany Street West in Utica. If you're a professional and you need professional gear.
Yeah, like shiny new toques, cool chef jackets. You want to spifficate your medical wardrobe and get some cool scrubs.
Yeah.
You can do that there. You also got those accessories for law enforcement and medical people, and the kind of shoes that can keep you on your feet all day long.
Absolutely. 315-266-0093.
Now, your local headlines from the Breakfast Club.
Well, we're calling it local, but at the same token, we're looking at everything right now, okay? Just touching on the presidential election, I'm looking at the map here, okay? I don't. You were at Claudia's rally, so I don't know if you watched much of the coverage from the different networks.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Without sound, probably.
I know. Yeah, that's the issue.
A lot of that. Yeah. Well, needless to say, like I said, Miami-Dade County was a big surprise. Okay, big surprise of the night. Trump having a lot higher numbers in that county than in 2016 by a long shot. But the other big surprise, which you are probably aware of, is Arizona. Arizona going blue.
Right.
And a lot of people believe that happened way too soon.
That it was called too soon.
Yes, and we'll have to watch that. But I know Mark Levin, from host of Levin TV, he places the blame squarely on Cindy McCain for that change in Arizona.
Oh.
Because she has been, as you probably know, been backing the Democrats because she hates Donald Trump. So that's a thing that's going on. But let's shift, and we'll go back to the national elections after we talk a little bit about the locals. We talked about Claudia. Okay, she had a great night so far.
She did, really well.
Yeah, with 99% reporting, she had 139,883 votes to Brindisi's 111,461.
Taking 54% to 43%, and the Libertarian Keith Price taking 2%.
Taking 2%.
54 to 43, an 11-point margin.
Yeah, that's nice, and let's hope she can keep it because Claudia's awesome. We all know that. She's been coming in here for a while, and I'll tell you the number of ads, anti-Claudia ads, the money that was dumped against her,
and the fact that they were really baseless.
Yeah.
I mean, the facts were so far skewed that they could be considered to be untrue, which basically they were.
Yeah.
But the other thing to keep an eye on with Claudia's race is she is ahead by 28,000.
Yep.
And there are more than 28,000 absentee and early votes that have yet to be counted.
Yeah.
Although it's looking very favorable.
We need to be careful about celebrating that one too soon.
You don't want to call it
too
soon like some people do.
Yeah, that has been happening. Yes. Also, if you're in the 19th congressional district, which covers Montgomery County and actually most of Otsego County, if I remember right, Antonio Delgado kept that. He was the incumbent. He stayed it.
He kept his seat.
As far as it goes, this is with 100% reporting.
With a slim margin.
Slim margin, which is pretty amazing because Kyle Vandewater, I've seen nothing for Kyle. I haven't seen ads. I haven't seen signs. I haven't seen anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be an indicator that some people are tired of Antonio Delgado, who, by the way, used to be a rapper. I don't know if you know that or not.
Oh, no.
Yes. Interesting.
I'm not familiar with that race.
Yeah. In the 21st Congressional District, Elise Stefanik.
Elise Stefanik kicked booty.
She did. Easily holding on. I don't know what the outstanding vote is, but it would take an awful lot to knock her out of that
Yeah,
seat.
she's at 64-36 with 92% reporting.
That's it. In the Senate, the 49th District, you got James Tedesco, the Republican, well ahead of Therese McCalman is the name, I guess. Let's see here. In the Senate, 51st, Peter Oberecker, and your Republican.
The Republican.
He is, I think, comfortably in the lead.
Yep. 60-40.
Yep. And a lot of these other ones, there's a lot of other races that don't really matter so much locally, but like the Assembly, the 119th District, we've had John Zelensky in here.
Yes, we have.
Okay, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and we were really hoping for a win from him. There's only 79% reporting, so there's still a little bit of
54-46.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that they got 100% of Claudia's, but
yeah,
79% of. And I actually last night as I was watching on the Button-Sean Zelensky race,
yeah,
I saw the lead flop.
Yeah,
like twice.
Yep.
Where Zelensky was ahead. And then it was Button-Sean, and then it was Zelensky. And one of the things that kind of like perturbed me a little bit is I was watching one of our major TV channels last night, and they had Zelensky in the lead, and then they put that 100% reporting, 100% in. And I'm like, wow, he won the race. And then it was like, still at 100%, the numbers changed. And they had Button-Sean in the lead.
A little bit of a mistake there. I saw a number of goofs like that last night. Everything from graphic goofs to number goofs. That's the joy of live TV, really.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to love it. And even the big guys make those mistakes. I've seen it on all of them.
Even some of the smaller professionals might make
one or two mistakes every now and again. In the as far as the courts, okay, family court. Let me find it on my list here because this. Okay, I'm sorry, New York State Supreme Court. This would be the 5th District. Michael Young will take that at 178,000 votes to 173 and change.
And this is where we had something of a dichotomy because the opponent, Rory McGannon, was a Democrat and conservative.
That's interesting.
When you went on the line, on the top, it was Democratic, and then you had the Republican, and then below conservative, he was listed. So how do you get Democratic and conservative?
That's a good question. I got to tell you, though, one thing that really kind of shocked me is usually when I go to vote, there's a whole bunch of stuff on that ballot
that you weren't expecting.
Yes, there's usually bills or whatever, measures, proposals to none of that. Literally, it was, one line. I think there were like 6.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. And when, I talked to Brian Larson, who's our company president. He said when he went to vote, now he lives in Buskirk. Buskirk is a tiny area.
Yep.
Okay, way out in the middle of nowhere. He said when he got there to vote, there were 50 people ahead of him. And by the time he got up there to vote, there were 50 people behind him.
Yep.
He says it was just unending. Now, I went to vote. I did it last night. Okay. And the place was pretty well packed and a little disorderly, but I think that the people, the volunteers that were working it did a pretty good job kind of, wrangling people, especially with COVID. It was interesting because when you came in the door, and I was a little frustrated that they weren't clear about like whatever, because you had to take a pen from from the one basket, and then when you were done, the pen had to go to a different place to be sanitized to be returned to the basket. And they were doing this thing, but they weren't really clear about how all that was going.
Right.
And this is the first election. Usually, every election I've done, okay, they hand you your ballot in an envelope or a folder. And then you go into the little thing, you open it up, and you fill in your stuff, and you close it back up, and they tell you to feed it into the machine from the folder. Every time I've ever voted, they've done that. This time, no folders. Here's your ballot. Have a nice day. Go over to the table. Not even a booth, table. Fill it out. I'm like, wow, this is way more in the open than normal, which is weird because this is a more hotly contested
Well, now
race.
in the mills, they were very controlling. They would only allow so many people in the room.
Yep.
Everybody else, the line stretched around the front entrance and then around the side of the building. But the nice thing was the line moved relatively quickly. Kim and I were in line maybe 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more.
I will say that the building where we cast our votes is the Federated Church building in West Winfield. It's pretty big, so there were about 20 people in there when I was in there in the space, but everybody was masked, that whole thing. But it was a little bit chaotic compared to what I've seen in the past.
Now the other thing is in mills, you were given your sheet. You know what I mean? And you just carried your sheet over to the little booth.
Yep.
And there was a Sharpie already there.
Yep.
And you used that Sharpie, and then you walked over and you fed the machine.
Yeah.
And on our machines, you can either go upside down or right side up, and it doesn't matter which way it goes in. You can just feed the machine.
Yep.
Just take your paper and put it in the machine. That's all.
Yep.
And away you go.
And it says
and it'll confirm.
Yep, it confirms your ballot was cast, and I took my nifty little sticker, and which is still in the truck. Everybody else I saw was taking their picture with it. I'm like, I probably should have, since I wasted my time grabbing one. I probably should have. But that's one thing I don't understand: people who don't vote. It is the most American thing you can do. Really, I've heard that before, and I believe it. We have this ability to go and it's frustrating in New York because, while the Electoral College is necessary across the board.
Yes.
Okay. In New York, thanks to the Electoral College, some of us feel like our votes hardly count.
Yes. Because New York always turns blue.
Yes.
Even though you're a red person that's always going out there and voting.
Yes.
It does have its level of frustration.
It does.
So to all of you out there in the blue states that want to get rid of the Electoral College, in New York, we live through it.
Yeah.
And so that's the way the system works. It's worked like that for a long time. So let's keep sovereignty in the states with the Electoral College.
And to all of you people who favor dumping the Electoral College, I would like to point out that right now, Donald Trump has 66.3 million votes, where Joe Biden has, let's see here. Oh, it flipped. Last night, Donald Trump was ahead in the popular vote.
Yeah, last night Donald Trump had more popular votes.
Yeah. So
and right now it's like about 68 million
to 66
for Biden to 66 for Donald Trump as of the time we did this.
Yeah. But, one other story that I wanted to get out there before we move into the more national news. The National Labor Relations Board has decided to investigate the Remington Arms issue, where they're denying their employees their severance, they're denying the employees their 401ks. They're denying all of that stuff. And, this is a Brindisi push. He sent a letter to the NLRB last week after the workers started rallying. Of course, they're out there protesting. Remington laid off more than 600 employees, saying, no severance for you. And, of course, Claudia Tenney says she's met with the new owners of the plant and talking about getting employees back to work as soon as possible. But it is good news that the Nationals are going to be looking into that.
I heard that Claudia Tenney was out there checking in and making sure that checking up on the benefits that those guys are entitled to.
Exactly. Oh, it's that time.
Besides voting day.
Besides voting, let's get some other stuff in here, too, all right? Today is National Chicken Lady Day.
Chicken Lady?
National Chicken Lady Day.
What about Chicken Man?
I don't know, but it is.
I don't even know what a Chicken Lady is. Is this like some kind of cookie? Is it a special way? Is it a kind of a chicken wing that
What's
you put a little skirt on it?
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Yeah. Oh, and a holiday I can get behind is it's National Candy Day today.
I thought Halloween was National Candy Day. Come on. What is this? This is more like National Candy Hangover Day.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to work your way to the bottom of that candy bag.
And here's one fitting for the day after Election Day. Mm-hmm. It is National Stress Awareness Day. Believe you me, I am aware.
And I'll bet that there's a couple of presidential candidates that are stressing right now.
We're all aware of our stress today. Yeah, your WVVC gas tracker brought to you by Big Dog Motors.
Big Dog Motors, he's out there in Frankfurt, and he's got everything you need to keep your car running smooth. You know, if you got a little fender bender and you need a body shop, he can do that. He can also help you out with your deductible if you need.
Yeah.
He's got the mechanical stuff. He can do inspections. So, and he also has previously enjoyed vehicles for sale.
Yes, the previously enjoyed. Absolutely. Big Dog Motors, 315-444-9028. BigDogMotorsInc.com is the web address, and it is possible to set up an appointment through the website, so that's kind of cool. They're located at 4262 Acme Road in Frankfurt, and, nobody beats the Gook. All right, so let's talk gas. Unfortunately, no word from BJ's this morning, so we don't know where they lie. But Mohawk Fuels at 205. Fast Track on River Road in Kavanaugh's 212. Let's see here. Speedway on North Genesee Street 219. Speedway on Oriskany Boulevard 219. And that does it for the 219s. Sunoco and A+, 221. That's the one on Kellogg Road. Stewart Chops, 225. That's the one on Champlin and Whitesboro. And that's those are your cheapest options for gas today. So, Walt, tell me about what's happening elsewhere. I wonder.
We're all looking at the map.
We're all looking at the map.
Whether it's red or blue, we're waiting for those pink things to get unpink. And for the blue things to get, or the semi-blue things to get unsemi-blue.
Yeah. Well, as we're looking here, you know, right now in Wisconsin and Nevada, and there was hope that Nevada could be flipped.
Yes.
I don't know how that's going to play out. 6 electoral votes up for grabs in Nevada. But if the states that are leaning blue stay blue, and the states that are leaning red stay red. Donald Trump
wins.
Yep. Okay, so, but again, they're dragging everything out so far. We may not know.
We may not know for a while. Like out there in Pennsylvania, there's talk of maybe some shenanigans here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some reports where there's signs that are supposed to be where they're not supposed to be. There was an observer, a polling place observer that was supposed to be allowed in, and they refused the observer entry. And a phone call was made, and finally things got straightened out, and then he was allowed in. The biggest thing right now that I understand that can happen is more about not extra votes getting counted, but about votes that were cast that won't be counted because they're going to end up in the back room.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say we're down to one last county in Pennsylvania, and you need 10,000 votes for that county to disappear, and that county is, like, maybe off of Philadelphia, and, like, maybe, these 5,000 votes that are red votes get stored away, and now the margin of victory is, by 3,000.
Yeah.
And so that's the big thing that is concerned about in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And I know Pennsylvania, they have till Friday, by the way, to count. Till Friday. And they stopped counting at 10:30 last night because they're like, I'm going to go home and go to bed.
Well, I heard there was a Yeah, it was in Pennsylvania. There was a county in Pennsylvania where they had to stop counting because there was a pipe that burst.
That was not Pennsylvania, I believe. I believe you're talking about Georgia, and that is.
You're right.
Yes.
Yes, it was Georgia.
It was Georgia.
And now, what kind of a pipe was it? Was it a pipe of effluence?
Yeah, and that was the thing. They were also talking about Georgia, which usually does go red, but Trump's numbers in some of the more Democratic strongholds, like around Atlanta, were looking way bigger than they expected.
Yeah.
And they were assuming that it had something to do with that one county not reporting yet.
It is looking favorable for Trump in Georgia. It looks like Georgia is going to get at least one Republican senator because the Senate race is also virtually a toss-up.
Yeah.
Right now they're standing at For Sure's 47-47.
Yep.
Okay. And so there are some races, some senatorial races that are out there that are still a toss-up. And also in Georgia, there is going to be a runoff in January. So we're going to have to wait until January to find out about that race.
Yep.
North Carolina, things again are looking favorable for Trump. Also in Michigan, they're looking favorable for Trump. Wisconsin is a squeaker.
Yeah.
I think it was in less than 0.5%.
Yes,
Last
I saw that.
Yep, it was something like 0.2 to Biden at that point in time.
That right there could be a contested state. But the thing is, let's say Trump doesn't take Wisconsin, but takes Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Wisconsin doesn't matter.
Right.
At that point.
Yep.
So, again, this is one of those things where everything is by a razor-tight margin, for the most part. I've been watching all night, and it's like, wow, everything's within a few points.
Yes. As I was sitting down last night at the Tenney rally, and I was watching the results come in, I was thinking I was going to see a bigger spread.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of like, wow, this is actually really a race.
It is. And I don't like tight races because that means that you can be stuck in court limbo.
Especially tight races that take a long time. Yes. And then now, we're going to end up going to court. And if you go to court, that's probably going to be contested. And if that's contested, it's probably going to be contested again.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be brought up before the Supreme Court. And then
Nancy's just looking forward to that because if this is a mess in January, she's got this idea that Congress can step in and mess. Last thing this country needs is Nancy Pelosi at the steering wheel.
Yes.
That
would be a
disaster,
tragedy.
In the words of Donald Trump, disaster.
Absolutely.
Yes.
One cool thing: the youngest congressional representative is being elected. 25 years old. A man who's virtually limited to a wheelchair because he was in a car accident.
Oh, isn't he the one that was up on stage in the Yes.
And Madison Cawthorn is projected to win his seat in North Carolina.
Interesting.
So 25 years old, a paraplegic kind of, and he is going to be going to Congress.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And actually, another thing about him, his opponent was quite the liberal, and he said, "The mountains remember our community values, truth, and tomorrow we cast Mo back where he came from."
I gotta tell you, the more I look at this, the more I'm getting like PTSD flashbacks to 2000. You remember when we didn't know till December that they had that we had reelected or that we had elected George W. Bush.
Well, that's because December 10th, is it, that the the electoral votes
Mhm.
are counted.
Yep.
And that's the official stamp.
That's the official.
So that's sometime around then. Breitbart is saying the steal is on in Pennsylvania. Poll watchers were denied access. There's illegal campaigning at polling locations. But really, those were like smaller, bittier things. They weren't really big kind of things. It's more the back room. Is every vote really going to get counted? And are they all going to be coming through?
Did you see the story about the guy who went to vote and he was wearing a Trump hat and a Trump shirt and they made him take it off? Because technically by law, supposedly, you're not allowed to wear
election materials.
That's right.
And like in New York State, I think it was 100 feet. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like 12 or maybe even 16 years ago, the opponent that was running against Cuomo, the guy that owns Paychecks.
Yeah.
So he had a well-funded campaign.
Yep.
He was doing a rally and a speech in this side of Albany. Might have been Gloversville.
Yeah.
Might have been at the Glove Theater.
Yep.
And the opponents were there monitoring him, and they said, you're within 100 feet of a polling place, and you actually have to move your speech. And they did this after we got set up, because I was running audio and stuff like that. After we got set up, and they made us move to a different room that was a lot smaller, 20 feet down the hall. But I went and paced out to the door, just walking it out and averaging, 3 feet a step. I'm like, no, we're more than 100 feet out. But he would not contest the argument. He just moved the whole thing. He wouldn't even go into it. But I was like, really, you got to wait until everything is set up. We're going to be here.
It's kind of a game.
Yeah. And I was actually got to see firsthand the game in play.
Mm-hmm. Just absolutely nuts.
Yeah. And also, it appears one of Trump's Twitters were shut down last night because he got mad at 2:22 in the morning. He said everything was coming in, we were doing fine, and then all of a sudden all the votes got shut down. And he put something out, I believe that was demanding that this get looked into.
Yeah.
And Twitter shut it. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Unreal.
So can you imagine President Trump running around 5 different rallies again? On voting day, he went to 5 rallies. The day before, he was at 5 rallies, and he's up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And here's the thing. Can you imagine if Twitter had shut down something from Obama? Froze his account or something?
They have yet to shut down anything from the Biden campaign.
Nope. Not at all. Just, ridiculous.
So it looks like the Democrats have fallen short. They did have high hopes of taking the Senate. Joni Ernst in Iowa was one of the contested seats. She is going to come through. Looks like John Cornyn in Texas and Steve Daines in Montana are also going to keep their seat. I believe it was the Arizona seat, is the one that has lost. So I believe in Arizona, that senatorial seat is going to the Republican.
Interesting. I'm on Twitter right now, too. Something else I'm looking at. Apparently, people were getting angry with Fox News last night. And Newsweek reports that Newsmax saw a major boost last night from Fox News viewers who were angry about their coverage.
I was watching the Fox News coverage, and it seemed one of the things I would say is graphic intensive.
Mm-hmm.
They like to have this countdown up there that this poll is closing.
Yes.
In 10, 9. It's like, Yeah, I know. It's not New Year's.
Yeah.
You know, the polls closing at 10 o'clock. We know the polls are closing. We knew long ago that the polls were closing at 10 o'clock. And you guys are acting like, some major announcement is going to be made. And you know what the major announcement is?
Polls closed.
The polls have closed in these 3 states, in these 5 states, in these states, the polls have closed. It's like, just when are you going to give me some numbers?
Yeah. The reason why Fox News is so far ahead in the ratings is they know that Americans like shiny things. It flashes. Let's put up a number. Click, click.
I thought
click.
it was overdress and under-delivered.
Yeah.
But there were some good things, and unfortunately, where I was, I really couldn't hear what was going on very much. But watching the flashes and the bangs, it's like, oh, come on, guys, can we just give it straight? Actually, one of the monitors, I didn't see it very often, but going over to CBS, I was actually kind of like, wow, these guys seem to be doing a relatively nice job. A little bit difficult for me to really pay attention.
Yeah.
According to Miss Kimmy here, Fox called Virginia with only 40% of the votes in. Virginia has always been said to be going blue. They were always going to go blue the entire time. So,
and that's
it's not like there was anything big. But one of the things I did not like last night watching Fox was they had the president's numbers were like almost well ahead of Biden's numbers. And they had the check mark for Virginia already called over.
Yep.
So I was kind of like, can you guys sit on it for a little bit before you throw that one away?
Yet, Florida. I'm telling you, Florida, they could have called Florida 2 hours before they did. If you saw the numbers, there was no chance.
Absolutely.
And there were a couple of them they did that with.
Yeah.
Even Ohio. They could have called Ohio earlier than they did, but they just sat on it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of beside myself with Arizona going blue. Again, I think they called that one early, but still, at this point in time, still blue. So we wait. We watch.
I did see a quote from the Fox, the guy responsible at the desk for calling the election.
Yeah.
And he said that we are 4 levels of statistic analysis into saying that Arizona is going to go that way.
Yeah.
Because, let's say if you go you're down to 1 county or something like that, and that county is basically 30,000 votes, and we know that they are 3/4 Democrats. You know what I mean? And there's, let's call it 50,000 votes in there. So you can say roughly 30,000 votes in there are Democrat.
Right.
And the margin is 10,000.
Right.
Well, basically, the margin that we know is going to be coming is really going to call for. So it might have been one of those kinds of things.
It could be.
I think that the president might have been more venting frustration that it was not fair and balanced, because they could have called Florida earlier. They could have called Ohio earlier. And here it is, they jumped on Arizona really quick.
I just thought it was funny that they called New York with exactly 0% reporting. That was still kind of interesting. Yeah, let's just toss that out now. New York's going to be blue.
Yeah. Yeah. Like California. When the polls closed in California, they were like, oh, there goes 55, for Biden, 55 electoral votes. Or look at that, 55. It's like, we knew that.
Yeah.
At the beginning of when the whole race was going.
Yep.
California's going to go blue. There goes the 55 for Biden.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you guys are acting like, oh, look, let's run a graphic with music underneath, and it'll look really spiffy.
So, Walt, what time is it?
Oh, it's 7:40. Are you having a good time yet?
Yeah. We should probably get our sponsor in.
We should do the weather?
Yeah, probably.
So bottom of the hour weather is the late bottom of the hour weather is brought to you by the folks at Media Partners Group. 768-0277. They're located at 188 Main Street in New York Mills. Get your old films, your old videotapes, your old slides converted to digital so you can see them again.
Yeah.
And again, they're at 768-0277, 188 Main Street in New York Mills.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-50s. For tonight, skies will be clear with lows around 40. For tomorrow, Thursday, morning sun will be followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Our highs will be in the low 60s. For Thursday night, we can expect mainly cloudy skies with lows near 45. For the long-range outlook, as the week progresses, we will see partly cloudy skies with temperatures rising into the 60s. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
Waking you up.
Wake up, you sleepyhead. Get up, get out of bed. See how the sun is shining.
You've got to be kidding me. It's the Breakfast Club, WVVC-FM.
Everybody, gather round. I'm here to give you anything you like. You want free college, energy, mortgages, whatever you like. You have come to the right place. Why? I'll tell you why. Who can take your money?
Who can take your money?
With a twinkle in their eye.
A twinkle in their eye.
Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government.
The government.
The government can.
The government can.
And who can tax the sunrise?
Who can tax the sunrise?
Who can tax the trees?
Who can tax the trees?
Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government.
The government.
Oh, the government can.
The government can.
And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good.
Make it all taste good.
The government takes everything we make to pay for all of their solutions. Healthcare, climate change, pollution. Throw away the Constitution. And who can give a bailout?
Who can give a bailout?
Tell us to behave.
Tell us to behave.
And make the founding fathers roll over in the grave. The government.
The government.
Oh, the government can.
The government can.
And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good.
Make it all taste good.
The government takes everything we make. They're power hungry and malicious. Their economics are fictitious. Soon we'll have to eat our dishes.
Delicious.
Oh, who can be a failure?
Who can be a failure?
In so many ways.
In so many ways.
And instead of getting fired, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. The government.
The government.
Oh, the government can.
The government can.
And the government can, 'cause they make it up with lies and make it all taste good.
Make it all taste good.
And your Uncle Sam can, 'cause he mixes it with lies and makes it all taste good.
Makes it all taste good.
And I feel so good, 'cause the government says I should.
Tim Hawkins, the government can.
Government can. You know, who can take your money away, Al?
Isn't that Joe Biden's
Now,
campaign song,
and
The Government?
Here's the deal. You know, if we keep going more left and more left into this communist thing, then what happens is they tax you to the point where you can't keep your property.
Yeah.
And then the government confiscates your property, and now the government owns everything, and you end up looking like, you know, someone from Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Yes, we have your land, we have the farms, we control the food. Did you want to eat while you were complaining, or am I just going to not feed you?
Yep. You know, it's
By
funny.
the way, let me tell you one of the little things early in the Cold War. One of the things that Stalin would do, because this is a good thing for Americans to know, he would go into, let's say, a place like Oneida County.
Yep.
But in Russia, Oneida County, size of Georgia.
Okay.
You know what I am talking about? We come in there and we see your collective farms and we see that you have food, so we take your food away. And then we come back and we say, hey, what is this? You have wheat in the barn? And the farmers say, that is the spring wheat that we use to plant. You have food in the barn. What, you are not for the state? We take that too. Yeah. And then they shut the borders down. Mm-hmm. So you have farmers with no food, no seed.
Yep.
They are failing at their plan, so they block all the roads leading out of the county.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens to all those people?
They starve?
They starved.
Yep.
Millions of people starved. In his day, Stalin killed more people than Hitler.
I believe it.
Only one person alive has killed more people than Stalin.
Yeah.
Mao.
Yeah.
I want you to know how this communist stuff works. It does not work like you think it does.
Yeah.
You know, somebody says that you are all going to be made equal. Yes, you will. When you are all 6 feet under, you will all be equal.
All be equal.
Yes. But the elitist guy, Stalin, never lost weight.
I can imagine. Yeah. It's just stinking sad what's going on.
Yeah, it's scary.
It
Don't
is.
let that happen. You know, keep freedom free.
Amen to
and
that.
actually, freedom isn't free. It does take a lot of work.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Take some expensive airplanes. But they look really cool.
They look pretty
when
cool.
they're flying over a football field.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know if you heard that one. What was it, 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of the NFL commentators. Well, that's not going to happen in a Biden administration.
Yeah.
Having military flyovers at a stadium. What do you think? This is crazy? It's like, do you think they started up those airplanes just so they could fly over a football field?
Yeah.
This is one of those time on target practices. It's all part of the training thing. And when you want to hit the national anthem, at the end of the national anthem and do your flyover, and you have a 5-second window that you want to hit going directly over that stadium, you are practicing your navigating while you're flying. And let me tell you something, that burns some brain cells. Yeah. I've been there. I've done that, trying to fly, instrument approaches on time and getting there and stuff like that. One of the most amazing things I found when I was a young man down in Florida and I was learning how to fly airplanes, and you're sitting in a 70-degree aircraft and you're piloting it and you're driving it through, and your instructor is simulating radio failures, and now you just lost your vacuum system, and you're shooting this approach and you're navigating, and it's like, okay, so if you lost your radio, what would you do now? That doesn't work very well at Embry-Riddle. Let me tell you something. Suddenly the plane starts shaking around, and the guy's going, "Hey, I asked you a question," and all of a sudden this sweat starts pouring out of you, and it's 70 degrees. You walk out of that airplane after doing one of those approaches, and you are drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
But the only thing you were doing was sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
You were just sitting in a chair. Fly in the plane. I mean, all you do is wiggle your fingers a little bit, and get to the throttle once in a while. And I was only flying a little Cessna putt-putt, okay? I wasn't flying, anything with a jet or multi-engine or whatever.
Wow.
And I've seen him do that to my buddy. He's flying a Cessna 310, and they're on takeoff, we're going up, and I'm looking over, and we're about even with the tower, which means we're about 75 feet in the air, and all of a sudden the plane lurches to one side because the instructor went over and pulled the engine back.
Oh,
he says, okay, how are you going to fly us out of here in one engine?
Ooh.
So what you do is you step on the dead engine that kicks the rudder in, and then you assume the correct speed to continue flying. There's the best speed for the plane to fly on 2 engines, the best speed to fly on 1 engine, and if you react properly, it's a piece of cake.
Okay. Yeah. If
this
you don't,
instructor,
it's not.
This instructor knew my buddy was a great pilot, so he knew he could test him even at a relatively low altitude, and he would fly us through, which he did, which is why I'm still here.
There you go. There you go.
Cool little stories of what it takes to be free.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It takes those guys some sweat, and that's what they want to do. They want to put pressure on them because you're only on national TV, and if you don't hit it, then who's going to be to blame? Flight leader. Hey, flight leader, what's the matter with you? Perhaps you shouldn't be flight leader. We're giving you a $50 million aircraft, and if you can't fly it, then we're going to find somebody who can. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There
you go.
So that guy goes back, and I'll tell you, boy, he gets every time they go flying. Good, bad, or ugly, you're going to be talking about it.
That's right. That is right.
Yes, indeed. So it's one of the wise things to do.
Oh, there it is.
Keep those guys practiced.
There it is.
Keep your freedom, even if you have to work at it. And we want to know that we are coming up on our Words of Wisdom. And Words of Wisdom is brought to you by the good folks at NGEMS, 2010 Oriskany Street West. Tony, Mark, and Julie. NGEMS has a history of over 100 years of floor covering experience, and they are also experts at saving you money. 733-0421. And today, on this November 4th, we're going to go to Proverbs 4:5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you a garland to grace your head and present you with a glorious crown.
I've got all these plans piled up sky high, 1,000 dreams on hold, and I don't know why. I got a front row seat to the longest wait, and I just can't see past the things I pray today. But when I fix my eyes on all that you are, then every doubt I feel deep in my heart grows strangely dim. All my worries fade and fall to the ground, 'cause when I seek your face and don't look around, any place I'm in grows strangely dim, dim. Sometimes where I stand on this narrow road is in a raging storm or a valley low. But oh, when I fix my eyes on all that you are, then every doubt I feel deep in my heart grows strangely dim. All my worries fade and fall to the ground, 'cause when I seek your face and don't look around, any place I'm in grows strangely dim, dim. I don't know what tomorrow may hold, but I know that you're holding it all. So no matter what they come, I'm gonna fix my eyes on all that you are, till every doubt I feel deep in my heart grows strangely dim. Let all my worries fade and fall to the ground. I'm gonna seek your face and not look around, till the place I'm in grows strangely, strangely, strangely dim.
Best part of waking up is The Breakfast Club, WVVC 88.1 FM.
When I am lost, unsure I belong, without direction, my worth in question. Your words a lie and a lamp to my feet. I am reminded I've been invited. I know it's always gonna be a father, so I know I'm gonna see your promise. Faithfulness is who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder, even when I feel uncertain. Come whatever, I will choose to worship, confident in who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder. Amidst the shadows, the weight of the night, I get the feeling this hope is fleeting. Your tender voice sings me out of the dark. You turn my world into your glory. I know it's who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder, 'cause you're always gonna be a father. So I know I'm gonna see your promise. Faithfulness is who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder, even when I feel uncertain. Come whatever, I will choose to worship, confident in who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder. It's who you are. I don't have to wonder. I know it's who you are. I'm standing in wonder. I know it's who you are. I don't have to wonder. I know it's who you are. I'm standing in wonder. Oh, I know it's who you are. I don't have to wonder. I know it's who you are. I'm standing in wonder. Draped on a cross, even though it was mine, laid down your body, became an offering, gave up your life. Now my soul is alive in all my weakness. Your strength is perfect. I know it's who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder, 'cause you're always gonna be a father. So I know I'm gonna see your promise. Faithfulness is who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder, even when I feel uncertain. Come whatever, I will choose to worship, confident in who you are. Oh, I never ever have to wonder. Oh, I never ever have to know it's who you are. I'm standing in wonder.
WVVC 88.1 FM. Wes Taylor right there, and Never Wonder. 8 o'clock straight up, and take a look at the shot on the TV there. If you're watching by on social media or on television, look at the shot of the sun.
Actually, Utica looks pretty cool sometimes.
It does. This time of the morning, the way the sun is coming up. Now, we're frozen because
it times out.
The camera times out. But what a beautiful shot there. The lens flare, that's very, very cool. And your weather forecast brought to you by Forever Leather in the New Hartford Shopping Center. Charlie, he's got...
Charlie Seeley's got a herd of leather materials just waiting for you.
It's the time of year where you want to think about the coat, the hat, the gloves.
He's got them all corralled in there.
And he's got scarves, too, and boots.
Yeah.
Definitely want to think about all of that. 315-734-0922. And Kevin James has some good news for us about your weather.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-50s. For tonight, skies will be clear with lows around 40. For tomorrow, Thursday, morning sun will be followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Our highs will be in the low 60s. For Thursday night, we can expect mainly cloudy skies with lows near 45. For the long-range outlook, as the week progresses, we will see partly cloudy skies with temperatures rising into the 60s. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
On your FM dial, WVVC Dolgeville, Utica, Rome. Inspo Radio 88.1 FM.
I can see the waters raging at my feet. I can feel the breath of those surrounding me. I can hear the sound of nations rising up. We will not be overtaken. We will not be overcome. I can walk down this dark and painful road. I can face every fear of the unknown. I can hear all God's children singing out. We will not be overtaken. We will not be overcome. The same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in us. The same power that moves mountains when he speaks, the same power that can calm a raging sea, lives in us, lives in us. He lives in us, lives in us. We have hope that his promises are true. In his strength there is nothing we can't do. Yes, we know there are greater things in store. We will not be overtaken. We will not be overcome. The same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in us. The same power that moves mountains when he speaks, the same power
Jeremy Camp on WVVC 88.1 FM. It's 8:06 right now on the Breakfast Club. And a couple things. Claudia Tenney may be stopping by at the bottom of the hour.
Yes, indeedy. Last night she did indicate she was going to try to stop by at the bottom of the hour.
That would be terrific. And tomorrow we've got Frank Monteclavo coming in.
Oh, Frank is he's a great source of knowledge for
Yes.
a lot of stuff that's going on out there.
Yes, and he's going to be talking some deep state stuff. So,
yeah, some deep state administrative stuff, and actually even, you see it come right down to our municipal level.
Oh, yeah, you do. You
So
seriously
should
do.
be an interesting talk tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing Frank come again.
Absolutely. Your news update brought to you by Dr. Uniforms, 1311 Oriskany Street West in the city of Utica. If you're a professional, you need professional garb.
Yeah, like shiny new toques or cool chef jackets or spifficating scrubs.
Yeah.
Spifficating scrubs?
Spifficating? It's the total...
Spifficating scrubs and accessories that, help you get your job done. Stethoscopes, legal accessories.
Yeah.
Holsters and holders and stuff like that. And the cool kind of shoes that can keep you on your feet all day long.
Absolutely. 315-266-0093.
Now, your local headlines from the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, the headlines. Election is pretty much
was there an election? How
the whole dominating thing. Let's take a local look here, just real quick, as far as how the local races stand. Good news for Claudia Tenney so far.
Yep.
Okay, she is in the lead with quite a pretty good margin here.
Yeah, 54 to 43%, 99% reporting in.
Yes.
So that gives her a 28,000 vote margin.
Yes. And in the 19th Congressional District, which affects our friends out there to the east, starting right around, I believe the 19th starts on the other side of Little Falls. Antonio Delgato looks like he's going to be keeping his seat, 50 to 48. The margin is pretty close, though, so who knows?
48%.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Elise Stefanik in the 21st Congressional District, easily going to hang on to her seat.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's great. So it's great to see Elise and Claudia are going to be back in Congress.
Yes.
That is fantastic. And even though Claudia does have that 28,000 vote lead, and it's looking comfortable, there are over 30,000 votes that mail-in and early votes that have yet to be counted.
Yeah.
So
That's
keep
why-
your prayers in there.
This is why this election is so crazy. The concept that they've stretched out the mail-in count for so far after Election Day. This isn't. I don't think it's fair to the American people to have to be sitting here wondering after Election Day.
I think that, or maybe like today. So there was a bunch of mail-in ballots, but the election commissions know how many ballots there are.
Yep.
And how long it's going to take to count, say 30,000 ballots. Okay? And you have to go through this. But, you should be able to, all right, how many people is it going to take me to process 30,000 ballots in roughly 24 hours? And then, let's say, all right, out of the 30,000, maybe there's a 10% failure rate. Just for giggles. Okay? So then that might be, but, that 3,000 is not in the margin.
Right.
So actually we should be able to have a pretty solid thing in 24 hours.
You would think so.
Because you know how many votes are coming down the pike.
That's
so
right.
gear up for it.
Uh-huh. Exactly. It's this. I don't want to call it a no-brainer, but it's pretty close. Also, New York State Senate in the 51st, Peter Oberacker, the Republican, staying in there. That right there would be 60 to 42. I'd say that's a safe margin, just between you and me. New York State Senate, Rachel May. Okay, this is for the 53rd District. Rachel May, the Democrat, is in the lead there, but not by...
By what? Maybe not even 100?
Yeah, that's very
Or 150. There's a 50-50 there with 95% reporting.
Yeah, so that one's really, really too close to call. New York State Assembly in the 101st. Brian Miller, the Republican, easily in the lead right there. And, of course, New York State Assembly in the 119th. We were kind of rooting for...
Our own little... Yeah, we were hoping for John Zelensky to come in.
Yes. And as it stands right now, he's behind, but not by an awful lot. It's 54-46.
Yeah. And he's behind by 3,000, 79% reporting according to this, and actually more like 2,000.
Yeah.
Just about there. So it is kind of close, but
It is.
Looks like Marianne is probably going to be pulling that off. But I was hoping that John Zielinski, who is a certified public accountant, would be in there, because it's nice to have somebody, especially conservative, and especially with this stance on big issues that affect us. Yeah. And now the New York State is looking at having a supermajority.
Yeah.
Gee.
Did you see, or hear, I should say, Marianne Buttonshawn's commercial that had been airing for a while? It starts with, like
with the Kennedy quote.
The Kennedy, yeah. It's like,
Yes.
Are you serious? I'm sorry. That is like so far removed from your party right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
it might be her, but it's not her party.
Yes.
And then once she gets in there, I have heard stories about what happens to a legislator in New York State once you get in there.
Yeah.
And how they extreme pressure.
Yeah.
It's like, did you want a phone in your office? Oh, were you voting the right way for me? Yeah. Were you voting the way we told you?
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of things that they do to make sure that, once you are under their thumb, you stay under their thumb. So the best way to do it is, even in the fight we've got now, in a way, I like to see that it is a fight.
Yep.
Because I don't want to see one side in control too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely.
So,
definitely. A couple other things to get to quick. New York State Supreme Court in the fifth district. Michael Young in the lead there, and New York State Supreme Court in the 6th district, which is Cooperstown. That's Brian Burns, taking the lead down there. Burns has been in for a long time now, and I see he's back in. So, yeah, one other thing I want to touch on quick is the Remington case, okay? It's been in the news that the former company that owned Remington had decided to let 600 people go and deny them severance, deny them their 401k, deny them their along those lines. So the National Labor Relations Board has decided to investigate Remington Arms Company after they decided to deny those employees their severance and other benefits. Okay, and that's, of course, Brindisi sending a letter to the NLRB last week. Remington workers started rallying, demanding benefits promised in their collective bargaining agreement. That's what it's a contract, folks. You can't just decide, hey, we changed our minds.
Right.
You are not going to be paid.
And I did hear that Claudia Tenney was also out there working the line.
Yes, she was focusing where you probably should be focusing, on the new owners, to get as many people as you can back to work, But it's good stuff.
So hopefully some good relations are starting out there, and we can have some positive results on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to quickly do a couple this day in history. Yes. In 1884, Grover Cleveland beats James G. Blaine for his first presidential term. He was the only American, the only American president to...
Grover Cleveland. No, I don't know.
Okay, he was the only American president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. In 1924, California legalizes professional boxing. It had been illegal since 1914. So between 1914 and 1924, that 10 years, professional boxing.
No pugilism, huh?
No. In 1924, Calvin Coolidge elected to a full term as president, defeating the Democrat candidate John W. Davis. In 1979, here's one. 500 Iranian students loyal to the Ayatollah seize the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 90 hostages for 444 days.
Now, when I was at Embry-Riddle, that happened. Yeah. And about 30% of Embry-Riddle's population was Iranian, because Embry-Riddle was the primary training source for the Iranian Air Force. So there was a number of Iranians there at Embry-Riddle at that time. Yeah, and it made for some very interesting
Relations?
politics.
Yeah.
Right there on the campus.
I can
And,
imagine.
Actually, a lot of them, because one of the guys I kind of knew, he was third cousin to the Shah.
Oh.
So he was one of those guys that had a really nice car and really cool cameras, because he had bukus of bucks to play with.
Yep.
And but I saw that some of these guys that shortly after that happened were summoned back home really quick.
I can imagine.
And then that is where Nightline came about.
Yep.
Ted Koppel and Nightline.
Yep.
And we would sit up late and watch what was going on out there, and Jimmy Carter's attempted rescue, which failed.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you know why?
crazy.
Do you know why the mission failed?
No.
It was actually pretty interesting. They had to build a forward air base to refuel the helicopters that were going to go into Iran.
Yep.
And it was very foggy. And on the runway that they were building, a helicopter collided with a C-130 refueler.
Oh, jeez.
And that is what blew the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was actually an aviation accident on the runway that shut down the operation. And so actually they were actually successfully building it out. But they had to get choppers into Iran. There's only a certain range on the choppers, which is one reason why the Marines now use the Ospreys. The Ospreys are not only faster, they have a much longer range.
Gotcha.
And they can do the same thing that those big, banana-type helicopters. But it was actually that aviation accident that shut down the whole thing.
Crazy. In 2003, the most powerful solar flare observed by a satellite is recorded. And in 2014, Tim Scott becomes the first African-American senator in the South since Reconstruction.
Oh.
So those are your On This Day in History, your WVVC Gas Tracker Report, brought to you by Big Dog Motors.
Todd Gookin out there in Big Dog Motors in Frankfurt. He's got everything you need to keep your car rolling smooth. If you need a little dents taken care of, you know, and maybe
fix
that
the committee of the whole
bender, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And you need a committee to help you with the deductible of the hole.
Yeah.
He can help you out with that too.
315-444-9028. BigDogMotorsInc.com is the web address. Located at 4262 Acme Road in Frankfurt. Nobody beats the Gook. Mohawk Fuel, 205 today. BJ's not reporting.
Oh.
Fast Track, 212. That's the one on River Road in Kavanaugh. Speedway on North Genesee Street,
219.
Speedway on Oriskany Boulevard,
219.
Sunoco and A+, not 219.
Not 219.
They're 221. Stewart Shops on Champlain Avenue, Whitesboro, 225. And Cliff's Local Market on Genesee Street, 227. So those are your local gas prices. So what's going on out there in the world, Walt?
Oh, nothing much.
Yeah, it's awful quiet.
Except for a giant election that we're all still hinging on. It's like it's still they're still saying it's too early to call. These big states, although there are a lot of these states that are leaning to the red, and they are the bigger states.
All the swing states. All the swing states for the most part, with the exception of Florida. Florida is solid red.
Florida is red. Nevada and Wisconsin are leaning blue, so there's 16 there. But if it does go the way the map is showing right now, where Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia would tip to the right, which is what it's looking like.
Yes.
Okay, it does look like those are going to go to the right. That is enough to put President Trump over 270, and he would remain president.
So here's the thing that still gets me, though. Arizona going blue. Okay, Arizona has a big problem with people jumping the border. They have for a while, okay? And Arizona tends to go red because the Republicans tend to be more the border.
It has normally been a conservative state.
Yes. So the concept that it went blue is still baffling.
What do they have? A bunch of people move out of California into Arizona so that they could...
That's part of it.
Which is what's happening in Texas.
It is.
Yep.
If you saw Texas, it leaned more blue than it has in a
in
generation.
a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was a just barely a call right there in Texas. I was watching that one with that was a nail biter. But Yeah, like I said, they called New York with 0% reporting. So apparently there was no doubt in their mind that that New York City would carry the rest of our state. You know?
And in the Senate races, it looks like the Democrats have gained one seat, which is the seat, I believe, from Arizona.
Yep.
And the McCabe, I believe, was beaten out by the Democratic. And they also did keep the seat in Georgia that was very contentious, and bukus of bucks have been spent on that seat. Also, they spent bukus of bucks trying to unseat McConnell.
Yeah.
And records were spent, I think, like in McConnell's seat, like the Democrats spent over $80 million, and the Republicans spent over $50 million.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that seat. So,
say what you will about Mitch. Okay, Mitch McConnell, he's a man with some power.
Yes, he is.
And you know, he's honestly, as far as people in that seat, I haven't seen, anybody move the way he does,
He is also one of those guys in the media that is underquoted.
Yes.
When they started the impeachment proceedings, I was fortunate enough to be tuned into a radio channel where they carried his speech.
Yep.
And his speech was about how those people in the lower house get very excited. And that is what our founding fathers wanted to happen. You guys in the lower house can get all excited, but in the upper house, where the more serious decisions need to be made about impeachment, that is why they put it in the hands of the upper house. So, Nancy, I know you're out there screaming and yelling and jumping all around, and you want this to get done, but the lower house, you guys can scream and yell and jump around.
Yeah.
But up here in the upper house, where we have to take serious consideration of what's going on and not be knee-jerk reactives.
Yep.
He was a very eloquent speech, and he is not on TV enough.
Yeah.
They don't give him enough credit and enough time. I see that they'll put on Mad Maxine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They'll put on Nancy, but you don't see McConnell on there for very long.
Yep.
And he could actually be very thoughtful and very eloquent in his speech. So it was really cool to actually hear McConnell speak for a while in there.
Absolutely. And, I'm looking at the House. Man, the Republicans needed to flip 21 seats. That would have been quite a
That
move.
would have been quite a big effort, and we do have one seat right here that got flipped.
Yep.
Well, it looks like it will flip.
Looks it.
It looks like Claudia probably will be going back to Washington, D.C. All right.
Yeah. Pretty happy about that.
But there were they needed more.
Yeah.
And there was actually in Florida. I can't remember her name, but she lost her seat, and she is somebody that has been around for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said last hour, I was really surprised by Miami-Dade County, which is a heavily blue county.
Right.
But man, did Trump pick up more votes in that county. And it came down to the Latino vote.
It was down in Florida, Shalala.
Yes.
Lost her seat in
Yes.
Congress.
Yes.
And she was a biggie to go down.
Yeah.
So that was quite amazing to see the Republicans be able to pick up Shalala's seat.
And that's something else I didn't realize, unrelated, but Cubans, the Cuban population tends to vote Republican. I didn't even realize that.
Because they know the value of freedom.
That's right.
They know what it's like to live under a communist regime that talks like everything is wonderful, but then they take your money and they take your property, and now you have to live off of. There's a reason they drive 57 Chevys in Cuba. Okay? It's because they're not really doing that well.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, you're all equal. You're all walking.
Yes.
Because the system doesn't work. You're not advancing. There's no Teslas in Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
And the reason for that is only politics. That's the only reason why Cuba is so far behind. It's just political.
That's right. And the other thing that people don't realize, you got the Democrats out there crying about the 1%, the super rich.
The uber rich.
Well, here's the thing. The uber rich, like, say, Tim Cook or, Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Or why are these people so rich? Because you're making them rich. That's what a free market does. You decide who's rich.
Right.
You decide by what you buy. Okay.
Now, in Soviet Russia, who is very rich.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very, very rich.
Yeah.
Putin.
Oh, yeah.
And his cronies.
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually an elitist organization.
Yep.
Okay,
right.
Like I said, after the Second World War, when Stalin started crushing down on regions that he thought weren't that happy with him, he just starved them out.
Yep.
Okay, but Stalin never lost weight.
No.
Okay?
No.
He starved tens of millions of his own people, okay? But he never lost weight.
Yep.
So communism is really an elitist organization.
That's right.
Okay? If you're on the inside and you're on the up, then yeah, you're living in gravy land.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you're one of those farmers that's trying to figure out how to grow food without any seed, because the masters of the universe took your stuff from you, okay, then that is Soviet Union. That is communist Russia. That is like what is going on in Cuba. Okay, they still have prisons full of political prisoners. Okay, last I knew there was well over 1,500 political prisoners still in Cuba.
I imagine. Yeah, definitely. Okay. I'm baffled by the lack of education, the lack of common sense.
Well, this is something the Communist Party has been working on since the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had 60 years to be working on it, and their efforts are showing.
Oh, yeah.
Their efforts are, hey, you know what? We're on the verge of being a communist country.
Yeah.
If Biden gets in, and if Congress went over, and if the Senate went over, we would be selling out our health care. We would be taxing people like crazy.
Yep.
Then the government starts confiscating property, and next thing you know, poof, it's all gone.
Yep. That's one of the big things people don't realize. In a lot of socialist setups, people don't own. They're not private property owners. There's no such thing as private property.
Right.
It's
not your property, and you must do what the state says with your property.
That's right. In Soviet Russia, your house owns you. Okay.
Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
So 8:29 out there. This time we'll do the bottom of the hour weather.
Oh,
At
okay.
the bottom of the hour.
Bottom of the hour, yeah.
What a concept. What, you think this is some kind of Soviet-run place? Media Partners Group can get your old videotapes, your old films, and your old slides put into digital, whether you want them on a DVD, on a thumb drive, or on a hard drive. Their number is 768-0277, located at 188 Main Street in New York Mills.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-50s. For tonight, skies will be clear with lows around 40. For tomorrow, Thursday, morning sun will be followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Our highs will be in the low 60s. For Thursday night, we can expect mainly cloudy skies with lows near 45. For the long-range outlook, as the week progresses, we will see partly cloudy skies with temperatures rising into the 60s. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
The Breakfast Club, WVVC 88.1 FM.
What am I gonna be when I grow up? And how am I gonna make my mark in history? What are they gonna write about me when I'm gone? These are the questions that shape the way I think about what matters. But I have no guarantee of my next heartbeat. And my world's too big to make a name for myself.
myself? And what if no one wants to read about me when I'm gone? It seems to me that right now's the only moment that matters. You know the number of my days, so come paint your pictures on the canvas in my head and come write your wisdom on my heart and teach me the power of a moment, the power of a moment, the power of a moment, yeah. In your kingdom where the least is greatest, the weak are given strength and fools confound the wise, and forever brushes up against a moment's time, leaving impressions and drawing me into what really matters. You know the number of my days, so come paint your pictures on the canvas in my head and come write your wisdom on my heart. Teach me the power of a moment, the power of a moment, the power of a moment, yeah. I get so distracted by my bigger schemes. Show me the importance of the simple things, like a word, a seed, a thorn, a nail, and a cup of cold water. You know the number of my days, so come paint your pictures on the canvas in my head and come write your wisdom on my heart and teach me the power of a moment, the power of a moment. You know the number of my days, so come paint your pictures on the canvas in my head, come write your wisdom on my heart and teach me the power of a moment, the power of a moment, the power of, the power of, the power of a moment, yeah. Canvas in my
It's Chris Rice on WVVC 88.1 FM. That's the power of a moment. And, yeah.
And we have Claudia Tenney, bright
Hey.
and cheery in our studio this morning. Claudia, were you up late last night?
3, 4, something like that. What time is it? 8:30? Yeah.
So if the dog didn't wake you up, you wouldn't be here.
Well, I don't know about that, but
yeah,
it's hard to have that biological clock. You know, it makes you want to get up at the same time, no matter what time you go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't work for me most of the time.
So congratulations on the rather nice lead that you're carrying right now.
Thank you. It's it should hold up. You know, we'll have more information. There's still a couple of precincts out, but they're typically strongholds for us.
Yeah.
They're actually the more Republican areas of Broome County.
Terrific.
Which would be great. If
Right.
we could narrow the lead or increase our lead a little bit and get more of a cushion as we go to the absentees.
Yeah.
But we should. Our goal was to get to be plus 25,000, and
Yeah.
we're plus. I think we're plus 29 something or
Yeah.
something like that. We were. Oneida County made a mistake. It was at 32. So,
Oh?
so we'll see. We don't know. These are all tentative numbers anyway, so we
Yeah.
don't know. But it looks like we should be able to hold with the known absentees out there and who we think they are.
Yeah. Well, I will say
Return from-
this. It's amazing to me because the amount of money spent by Anthony
Yes.
Brindisi to try and keep this seat.
It's just the lies. You know, I mean, And this
They
is,
were
I'm
pretty
sitting there
incredible.
thinking like $45,000. I think it's been for against me, and and it's just all the nonsense. I mean, Spectrum Cable, that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Somehow I'm against people with pre-existing. If I watch that ad one more time where I'm pulling it almost looks like I'm pulling the inhaler away from children and senior citizens. I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. Why? It's just terrible. We didn't run ads like that about him.
Yeah.
I mean, even the people that I have no control over didn't run those kinds of ads. Everything we ran was factual. He did vote to impeach the president.
He did.
It's like you can't get around that.
Yeah, you can go right to the record.
From the tenor of the ads, I thought that you would be flying one of those C-130s full of cash into Griffiths
I
for
know.
that donation that Al and I are always
It was just funny.
asking
So it's
about.
again the projection. Typical argument on that side. They project all of what they're doing onto you, just like with the presidential race, which obviously we're all on pins and needles, and just inexplicably, I guess it's because, like Pennsylvania, the president's up by 600,000 votes or something
like that. Yep.
We've got shenanigans going on in Philadelphia. We've got an attorney general that looks like he's off the rails. It should certainly recuse himself.
The attorney general was calling it yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually, the day before yesterday, Pennsylvania
It
for
should.
Biden.
I mean, hopefully, they're all criticizing the president for coming out and being positive.
Mm-hmm.
I think they feel strong about the numbers they think they have. So,
well, right now, if you take a look at the map, and if every state goes the way it's leaning, Trump wins. Flat out, because as it stands, PA, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, and Alaska, all leaning for Trump.
Yeah.
So that's
and
where
there's only, I believe it was 16 if you add Wisconsin and Nevada.
Yep.
Those are the only ones that are leading for Biden that are left, and that does not put Biden at 270.
Wisconsin, Biden's leading.
Yes. Yes, but it's by a very slim margin.
It was a very slim margin. It was
less than
I think
a point.
within 0.2. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 or 0.3%.
Yep.
And these maps were made before we came on air this morning.
Okay.
So there may be an update that we have not seen yet.
Although I doubt it, because right around 2:30 in the morning, everything stopped.
Which is
it
rather
was just strange because it didn't happen in 2016.
No,
it's just like
everybody kept working it.
We're not going to do anything, and it's like it just seems that we should have the right to have results. But
I was told that PA was stopping at 10:30 last night.
Wow.
They were stopping the count, and because they've got till Friday, and they're going to take their time. That's what
Wow.
that's what I heard. They got till Friday.
That's an interesting attitude to have. You
Yeah.
know? Everybody's election. America's watching.
It was
it's
an
lunchtime. I'm out of here.
It was a very interesting race just because of the early voting, and
Yes.
I was not obviously watching TV, and everybody's texting me, "What's going on?" You're starting to chip away at the lead, and the reason that we were initially not up is most of the early votes were Democrats.
Yes. Mhm.
So the early voting numbers were posted first, and then they added on the election day votes.
Yep.
Which is why the numbers were low at first, and then that we just kept gaining and growing, which is great.
That was the frustrating thing for me. The AP was really slow to update. So when I first posted all I knew, you were way behind.
Yeah, the early vote was, and then they always put the cities out first.
Yep.
For some reason, I don't know why. And the cities tend to favor Democrats, but anyway, hopefully we'll prevail. I feel pretty good about it. We met our cushion minimum, so this is assuming every single Democrat absentee ballot and independent ballot goes to him, which is not likely.
Right.
And assuming all we need is 60% of the known Republicans that we have out there. So we don't. That's where we are, but. Hopefully, we'll do even better. I don't know if we're going to. We probably will lose a little bit, but I don't think we're going. I don't feel like we're going to lose the election at this point, based on what we know. We're very concerned. We're going to impound the machines today and make sure that they can't do anything on trying to harvest more absentee ballots coming in. Honestly, after what I went through in 2018, we cannot be too cautious.
Okay,
I know. So we're getting everybody on deck, but still, nonetheless, to come back and just. I can't tell you how.
What does it mean?
What a great year it was with all these. What a horrible year in a way with the pandemic and when we're trying to campaign during it. But think about. I think the Central New Yorkers for Tenney and Trump did like 31 rallies, including the grand finale rally on Sunday at Harley Davidson, and there was the rain and the wind, and it was
a good turnout.
It's just the people that came out. That's why I cannot believe that Trump is not winning this race with just the amount of grassroots,
Yep.
heartland support across the country. For
I was
him.
expecting
Everywhere.
to see better numbers last night. When I first sat down and I started looking,
Swamp.
and
I laughed, though.
It seemed quite.
He's got to pull it out.
Fox News called New York for the Democrats with 0%, zero precincts
I
reporting.
noticed that they were calling every. You know, the hard thing is just that so many Americans, sadly, are uninformed. If you could sit and listen to phone calls, they don't vote for people based on their qualifications for the job. They see an ad. They you know, there's a lot of hatred for the president. He's had unprecedented amounts of hatred against him. And people who actually start to pay attention see what's really going on.
Right.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's hard to get to them because there's so much clutter and confusion. It's just like me. My opponent characterizes me as some, wealthy, all just down there cashing in, or if I could see that commercial one more time. It's all about the money. What money? I mean, I live a very modest lifestyle. I don't live some fancy lifestyle. I'm a small business owner, single mom. My son was there last night. He's in bed, by the way. The Marine couldn't get out of bed. No, but he's and I'm like, oh my God, my opponent's father drives a Rolls Royce. He just bought his wife a new Bentley that's $500,000. I've heard. This is not like personal injury lawyers. They spend how much million at least in advertising every year. I mean, they're wealthy people. They have beautiful homes in Florida and whatever. And I'm just and the money. There was money coming for me from the other side, but in terms of direct campaign spending, he had to be outspending me at least 3 to 1.
Yes.
And people are saying, why didn't you put more positive ads up? The problem is we couldn't afford it. We were doing it digitally. We saw direct mail pieces. We did what we could. We couldn't match him dollar for dollar on the TV. And he wanted me to go down that sort of rat hole of defending Spectrum, which was not my fault. It was his fault. But there's only, the more I talk about Spectrum, the less I'm talking about the real issues that affect a congressional race. Like your vote to impeach, defund the police, the fact that Nancy Pelosi is holding up the money that's due to our communities for our small businesses, our local governments, our school districts, all the stuff going on in D.C. that they've got nothing done in 2 years. They've been the most obstructionist, least productive Congress probably in the modern era.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's just disastrous, refusing to work with the president, all the stuff they're doing. And it was just so hard to get around. And he's talking about Spectrum Cable. I'm like, oh, my God, how many millions can you spend on an issue that you need to talk about with Governor Cuomo? He's the reason. He's the only solution right now.
And you know what's funny? The number of times you hear Spectrum Cable out of Anthony Brindisi, he's practically advertising for him.
It is true. Between Spectrum Cable and what else does he say? I'm a liar. I don't show up. The town hall lies. She doesn't do town halls. I've done more events, more public events. And when you count like town halls, coffees, public meetings, I did teletown halls. He doesn't even come close to what I did. He hasn't really been to work since March.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they've been to they've done some set. I mean, they really shut down.
Wow.
He gave his proxy vote to Nancy Pelosi, and he's talking about me showing up.
Yep. And just the concept that he is one of those people that will just repeat things over and over again.
It's like a droning narrative. He's good at it though.
Yeah, it's like if you say it enough, maybe it's true.
Typical Democrat trick to obfuscate the real issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know some good Democrats, so I don't want to totally. But there are some good friends of mine who are Democrats who are good to work with and productive. And actually, a couple of them reached out to me from Congress yesterday.
Oh.
So they're like, "Hey, we're glad you're coming back. We want to work with you." So we're going to have to. And obviously, we didn't retake the House. We've got to figure out what we can do. There are some decent people. We're going to have to work with them and praying for the president.
Are you looking forward to getting back to the swamp?
I had mixed emotions. I like getting back and not being in the majority, which I was in. And it's going to be more challenging. So we just have to buckle down and find alliances, find people that'll work with us.
Yes. It's hard right now. In 2020,
they're being so overwhelmed, and there's some good people that just if we could give them the courage to get beyond AOC and the stranglehold they have on the Democratic Party.
Yep,
that's going to be the challenge. And we had some good wins on the state side too.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about the numbers there. I see John Zelensky's behind.
Yeah.
Sad to see that. I'm hoping that as that finishes out, those numbers come for him.
54 to 46 at our last look.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
That's a tough race. Marion comes from a well-known family. really nice family. They also have, they're very pretty moderate. She's got a lot of Republicans. I think her husband's a Republican or conservative.
The frustrating thing, though, because unfortunately,
once you get
people
to the assembly,
people are
not me.
Yeah.
No, I mean once Mary Ann Buttonshaw gets to the assembly,
to the end,
they are and actually it didn't happen with you,
which explains my district.
Yeah,
that I left to poor Brian Miller. It's that horrible. That district was tailored to get rid of me because they don't want anyone talking about how corrupt and terrible they are.
Yeah. So it was gerrymandered specifically to.
Sometime you ought to have Brian Miller on and talk about the district. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should do that. Yeah.
There's that cookie monster coming out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh my Lord. But there was John Salka one. He's he's a good strong voice. He's a fighter. He worked hard to get that seat in the first place. Had a big decisive win. Peter Oberaker won, which is good.
Right.
There were a bunch of Republicans who won.
Nice to see Elise staying in.
Elise crushed Tedrick Cobb, thank God.
Yes.
It's a great win. Elise, by the way, shout out to Elise Stefanik. She actually was instrumental in helping me. A lot of her former staffers helped me. Her former chief of staff was my campaign consultant who ran my whole campaign. And
nice.
Also, my campaign manager used to be Team Elise, and he's always kind of we're all in there. But Elise did an amazing job. Last night I was just kind of texting Elise at 3:00 in the morning about so many women Republicans she got elected from her EPAC, which Elise created, funded, helped us all. I mean, we got great women. Nancy Mace won down in South Carolina to win back. We had Beth Van Dyne in Texas. Michelle Fischbach took out longtime incumbent Colin Peterson in the biggest Trump district held by a Democrat. So she won. She was the former lieutenant governor up in Minnesota. She did well.
In Florida, there was
Nicole Maliotakis, my colleague from the Assembly. Great job for her. Maria Salazar in Florida. Tremendous woman. Amazing woman.
beat Shalala.
Yeah, well, she should have beat her the first time. That was a rematch. But, Maria Salazar is just a superstar.
Yeah.
Great.
Interesting.
She's going to be great.
Interesting things in this election. One, record turnout. Record turnout of voters. That's terrific. Did you see that Chris Wallace kept beating the drum on the fact that women came out in droves? They outnumbered the men voting this year. He's like, there's no way Trump can win because women don't like Trump.
He's never been to a Trump rally.
Yeah.
Obviously he does. He needs to look at who's attending the Trump rallies. Yeah. Because it's not all men out there, I'll tell you that.
No.
I'm just going to tell you who others. This is worthy of note because I have a ton of young women out there who are my fans. My shout out to Ellie Yaxall. Her mom is. I don't want to say her last name. That's her mom's last name, but she is one of my 7-year-old fans out there. She's awesome, and just a lot. And I know a lot of young men too. Young people that when I was at the speech,
youngest congressman.
There are so many young, wonderful people out here that we need to have them. They have to be strong. They got to put up with this. They got to be willing to take $45 million in slam ads and still fight onward. So that's what I hope I can set that inspirational standard for people coming up. Are we almost done here? No, we got a minute.
A little bit of time.
I wanted to tell you there's another one. Stephanie Bice, she won an Oklahoma seat, took that back for the Republicans. There was a bunch of women Republicans. And Yvette Harrell out in New Mexico, she won. Who'd I miss? I got them all, I think. Beth Van Dyne, me, Maria Salazar, Nancy Mace, South Carolina, she won that. Lindsey Graham was in, that's where Lindsey Graham pulled it out. Stephanie Bice, Yvette Harrell, that's a rematch. She won that race. She's winning right now.
Yeah.
A lot of great women Republicans coming up, which is, I think, going to be great for our future as a party.
I would say so. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
And look at all the women that when Chris. I didn't listen to Chris Wallace. I can't sometimes. I'm like, just go and get on CNN where you belong.
I'm surprised Fox still has him on there.
Yeah,
I get disappointed. Look, Fox is
even Geraldo Rivera came
conservative
around
leading
on this election.
It's conservative leaning. They don't deny it. Yeah. But you go to CNN, MSNBC, they think they're neutral.
Yeah,
but they're not. At least Fox is honest about it. When they do try to put people on the other side. I wish they had people that were better on the Democratic side. I mean, I look and I see like, why is
last
Donna
night,
Brazile
Donna Brazile.
on?
Yeah.
I mean, I just never can get over the fact that she gave Hillary Clinton the debate questions.
Yeah.
In advance. I mean, actually, my staff always jokes like when I go, they go, "Are they going to give you the debate questions on? And did they give them to your opponent? Are you going to get them in advance?" But anyway, you guys did a great job. I mean, out there, I mean, I think that hopefully the president will hold up. We won't lose this country. I feel like it's if President Trump loses, I just cannot understand. I know people hate the president. They don't understand what's really going on inside politics. Everybody, if you can, go and watch Tucker Carlson's monologue from a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
Where he talks about the phenomenon of why people are coming out for President Trump, how he's the one who's recognized the everyday American. And I think I just don't understand. Joe Biden does not have the mental facility right now to take this job.
You can tell.
And now with the corruption issue, I mean, this is like unbelievable. I just don't know how anyone can paper over.
Yeah.
It's just the guy is just clearly not able to do the job.
Did you see, I think it was the day before the election, where his wife walked up to him on stage and put her hand on his back? And he was waving. He was on like stage left, and he was waving to people on the side. She puts his hand on his back, and he almost jumped out. He was like scared to death. And she had to guide him back to the center of the stage so they could all wave. And then the whole family gets ready to walk off the stage, and they're playing the exit music. And Biden walks up to the microphone to get ready to talk. But the music doesn't stop. And then he's like, and his wife kind of comes back for him and takes him off the stage. Okay, honey. It's like he's lost on a stage.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine him on the world stage?
Just the corruption
How
level
lost he
with
would
what's
be?
going on with his family, that whole...
Oh, yeah.
The laptop from hell, to quote President Trump. I mean, just what's going on there. This is exactly what people say they don't want. They don't want politicians cashing in on their job down there. 47 years or whatever it is, and here's the Biden family just enriching themselves, living the fancy lifestyle. The son, the ne'er-do-well son, who's
the uber elite lifestyle.
It's just the caviar class, and now they're being taken over by the socialists.
It's some sad.
Who are
scary
learning
stuff.
how to become uber elite.
Oh my God! Well, Bernie, AOC. I mean, what are they going to? I don't know what happened with the market today or what's going to happen, but I mean, if Trump
I believe
loses,
the market was going up.
If
when I
Trump
saw
ends
this
up
morning.
losing, the market's going to. I mean, we're going to see a downturn in this economy. Especially if they raise taxes, impose the Green New Deal, go to Medicare for all.
If there's no way
China's going to move right in. I mean,
there is no way they can impose the Green New Deal. I looked at that when it came out. I'm like, yeah, okay, so we're going to abolish air travel. How's that going to happen? You take a look at their proposal. It's like, this is ridiculous.
You're going to take a boat to Hawaii. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember the congresswoman who made a comment about?
Oh yeah. Yep.
She wasn't sure, Mazie Hirono, how we're going to get from Hawaii onto the mainland. It's gonna be a long day. She's gonna have to have. We're gonna have a bunch of freightliners. Are they gonna use up natural? Are they gonna use up petrol?
Makes you wonder.
How are you gonna get a car? Are they gonna be nuclear powered, like a submarine?
I do not think that people realize how many products petroleum goes into.
It's a third of our economy.
Yes.
Petroleum is 30% of the U.S. economy.
Medical supplies, plastics.
Anything plastic.
Yes. There's so much. I had a list. It was a few days ago. I was looking at a list. I couldn't believe how much stuff.
Those wheels aren't going to turn without grease.
The New York version of the Green New Deal passed last year in the state assembly, and Governor Cuomo signed it into law, which is almost as bad. You're going to start seeing, when you see our bills going, I'm looking at Brindisi's talking about Spectrum. How about the bills you voted for in the state assembly that are, I mean, when seniors, maybe the reason he targeted Spectrum is like they see their bill going up for their cable bill. Wait till you see your heating bill. You could live without Spectrum. Are you going to live in a house that's not heated?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't think people even realize what's going on with these people. These people are telegraphing. They're not hiding it, what they stand for. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
They're not people. These are people who are government tight. They're people that are in government. They're not people who've ever worked in the private sector, made a payroll.
Yep.
It's true.
It's the deep state administrative special.
Yeah, they're just.
Which, tomorrow we're going to
1984.
have from Utica.
Oh, and now I've completely lost. What's his name?
We got a prayer coming up here.
Yeah.
I'm just running
yes,
the show
we
now.
do.
a couple of minutes. But
We have somebody who's aware of all this deep state stuff that's
Yes.
going to come on.
From Utica?
A local guy, yeah. He'll be coming up.
There's a lot of people, but you don't have the name, huh?
Oh, I do. Hold on.
We got it somewhere.
Give me 1
Deep
second.
State, Utica Deep State.
Frank Monteclavo.
Oh, Frank, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal guy.
He's going to be with us tomorrow.
He's substantive, does his research, puts the facts up. He's a great guy, terrific guy.
He is.
Actually, I love him. He's just...
He's terrific.
He's terrific.
This would be the second time he would have been on our area.
Very fact-based, though. I mean, you don't get... Frank doesn't get into the political aspect of it.
Yes.
It's pure. It's very fact-based. He's exactly what we need. He should have his own newspaper.
Yeah.
He should have his own...
We should give him his own show. What
He
do you
did
think,
have his
Paul?
own website, but he got tired of trying
if he could have... I mean, he would be real
play
news. I mean, we
defense.
have the horrible newspaper. I mean...
Well, we have a newspaper?
So I will have to tell
I
you...
thought it was a Birch
years
Cave
ago,
liner.
when I first kind of got into this political mess, there was some website. It was called CNY Insider. Do you guys ever remember that?
No.
And it was hilarious. So I don't. Everyone thought it was me. It wasn't me. I couldn't be that funny. But there was a. You click on the links, and this is before. The technology's even better now. But there was a link, and you'd click on other bloggers and other people in the blogosphere and everything. And they had this one link. It said the worst newspaper in the world. So I clicked on it. It took you right to the Utica Observer Dispatch page. I used to think that was hilarious. I love that. I said, wow, this guy's brilliant. And then it disappeared overnight one day. The guy must have died, or girl, or whoever was doing it. But it was literally like someone who was living in the county building and knew everything. It was amazing.
Nice.
So,
Well, Claudia, we do want to
Thanks so
thank
much.
you so much for being with us. We look forward to
Thank
having
you.
Frank Monteclavo with us tomorrow. And congratulations,
Montecalvo.
Claudia.
Thank you so
Montecalvo,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. Let's pray that we get the president back in here, and
Yes, indeed. And
it's
we do
going to
want
be a
to
long
leave
slog.
with a good word for the day, and the good word is brought to you by our friends at NGEMS at 2010 Oriskany Street West. Over 100 years of floor covering experience. 733-0421. Tony, Mark, and Julie are also experts in saving you money. And as we leave today, we're going to leave with a good word from 2 Corinthians 3:6. Okay, check this out. It's not good for this time that we're in, okay?
Okay.
He has made us competent as ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life.
Amen.
All righty. So, everybody, keep those good words with you until tomorrow when Al and I will see you again on the Breakfast Club. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny skies with highs in the mid-50s. For tonight, skies will be clear with lows around 40. For tomorrow, Thursday, morning sun will be followed by increasing clouds in the afternoon. Our highs will be in the low 60s. For Thursday night, we can expect mainly cloudy skies with lows near 45. For the long-range outlook, as the week progresses, we will see partly cloudy skies with temperatures rising into the 60s. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
First on your FM dial, WVVC Dolesville, Utica, Rome. Inspo Radio 88.1 FM.
I've been taught how to talk to you. Hold it together, make the bad look better. Say all the words that I'm supposed to. Bow my head, say amen, yeah, that'll do. Making every dead end look like heaven. Like being okay is the way to reach you. But you're not afraid of all the things I feel. So why am I afraid of being real? You want actors, every messy word, every scar and everything. You want all I have, but no holding back when I'm hurt. At my worst, you meet me there, 'cause you see the beauty in my broken prayers. In my broken prayers. You don't care if it ain't poetry, 'cause all of my edges, they're a little rough, but that's all I gotta bring. 'Cause you're not afraid of all the things I feel. Don't have to hide the scars to stay
Putting a positive spin on your workday.
The fact that you're here gives me, what do you call it, a motivation?
You're listening to Your Family Place, WVVC 88.1 FM.
Yeah, I know it's been a little while, but I gotta let them know. Yeah. If you ever been down, opportunity to grow. Yeah. I know you having trouble understanding it. If you trust in God, He got His hands in it. I promise He'll protect you like it's lamb in it. He don't get the glory if the man did it. You gotta stand with Him. I know. Yeah. Life gets hard and it feels like it's no way out. Yeah. I promise if you just keep going, it'll all work out. Yeah. Cause that's my God. He won't let you go by fire. All you need to know right now, He gon' pick you up, give you love right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All I want isn't all I need. Give me God. Because
everything I am, I'm trading. Got my life in your hands, all my plans. Cause I'm trading what's good for me, cause you're good for me.
I know it's been a while, but I gotta tell the truth. Throwing away my old ways, something that I gotta do. I gotta get the power from the source. That's the only way to stay the course. Only putting trust up in the Lord. I know He's got His hands in it for sure. I know that He's a cure. In every situation you give me peace. Don't gotta be afraid cause you're in the lead. I know, I know, I know that I'll never be the same cause you set me free, yeah. That's my God, He won't let you go by far. All you need to know right now, He gon' pick you up, give you love right now, yeah. All I want isn't all I need. Give me God, because
everything I am, I'm trading. Got my life in your hands, all my plans. Cause I'm trading what's good for me, cause you're good for